Hey friends, it's Tracy from HallOfFameMoms.com, and I'm going to give you a homeschool update. So, if you saw my video around the beginning of this school year, the 2016-2017 school year, and I will put the link in the description box below. If you watched that video, then you saw the different books that I'm having my kids work on. And let me back up a little bit. The way I homeschool my kids is more of a traditional way. Like, I pick and choose the curriculum. I don't do public school online. I don't buy into a whole set of box curriculum or a homeschool online program. So the update that I want to share is that if you saw my other video that I mentioned, you saw that I may have mentioned in that video that I ditched Saxon. Now we haven't always done one type of math. We started out, if you want to say with the math curriculum, it would have been, I'd say it would have been Math Mammoth. So we did that maybe kindergarten through second grade, maybe third, something like that. And then I bought some used Saxon things to do. And so because I was having the kids work in a notebook, excuse me, I found that trying to read what they wrote and figure out where in the Saxon program they were starting out, like, because there's practice problems, and I think there's like different examples that you can work out and stuff. Anyways, it was just taking up more time than I wanted. I was a pain in the rear. So I just said no more. I wanted to try a different math system, and it is this Learn Math Fast. And I don't know that I'd ever heard of it until I saw another YouTuber talk about it. And I contacted the Learn Math Fast people. And as a blogger, you know, I asked if they'd be interested in having me review it. I wanted to try it. You know, and these books are like $45 a piece. I think this is volume 1. We got volume 1 and 2 for free to review. I think those are $45 a piece, and then the higher up you go, I think it's more. I'll talk about the Learn Math Fast in another video. So back to math and how we're doing it in our homeschool. I have Brendan back in Saxon, and only Jack is doing the Learn Math Fast, and that's made it easier, I feel like, because part of being frugal, and this is where it can kind of mess you up, is when you try to use the same book for the same kids and you have them writing in notebooks and you don't want them to write in their book, the original book and all that. It's just made it easier for me to let Jack work in this book. I have Brendan working in his Saxon book too, and I even have Brendan checking his own work. So when he does his lesson, he has to go check it himself. I will check Jack's, and then Brendan has to work through the problems that he missed. And I think that's a great idea, whether you're doing Saxon or not. Okay, so I told the boys for most of the month, probably for most of the month of December. I started it after the 1st of December. I told them that we would take the rest of the month off from the workbooks and stuff like this. So by the time the end of the month rolls around, it will have been about 3 weeks, I think, that we've been doing this. So they don't have to do any of their workbook things. All they have to do is math and their reading, and then we are using some of the other time to do Christmas studies, and I'm going to show you what that is. And I just like that we've changed things up and we've lightened the load. So I went through my computer, pulled up whatever Christmas things I had saved on there, and I decided what I wanted to use, and I printed off what I wanted to use. And I used to get a lot of stuff from ClickClick. I'll share a link to them down below, but they're a great place. They sell, I think, pretty much all, maybe all downloadable, printable, like unit studies and things like that people create. And what I like about their site is that you can, you have your own library. So the things that I've been buying or the free stuff I've been getting, even though I haven't had it saved on my computer, or whether or not I saved it on the computer, it saves into my library on ClickClick, so I can go there and get it. But all that to say, it's a great resource. You might want to check it out. I can't remember if I got this from there, but it's called Christmas Traditions, Christmas Tradition Highlights. I think this might have come from a seller on ClickClick. So it talks about things like the history of the Christmas tree star, bells, the holly. What I have found is that some of the history that this shares would be mythology. I mean, it's just interesting, but it's if I would look into it. We don't do it in an in-depth study, but it's just something Christmassy that we're doing. What I think is more meaningful is this, and it's called Open My Eyes for Kids, and I found it on it's from the felicitybee.com, but I think I actually came across it on Pinterest. And then there was somebody else, lisaapollo.com, had the nativity scriptures. Now here's what I want to say about that. As we were going through these, there was some discrepancies, so I'm guessing that they use different Bible versions than what we do, so keep that in mind whenever you download or use somebody else's list. But nevertheless, it's something that gets us looking through the Bible on the things that tie into what we celebrate in Christmas. And I really like this topic of the names of Jesus. Now, some of the names of Jesus in this list actually I think are more like metaphors for Christ. Like Jesus being the door and some of that instead of a name. But nevertheless, it helps us find Jesus, point out what Jesus is referred to in Scripture, help us to understand the Lord better. Okay, so there's that. One of these studies, I have something here. It looks like it's part of Charlotte Mason's type of homeschooling, and it has activities, Christmas activities that you can do, and links to different things. And we haven't really done the extra projects, but they're there if we want to. And I think maybe if my boys were younger, maybe we would. Okay, so that is what we're doing and part of this, some of this history talk also crosses into geography. Okay, so it's not only Christmas. We've got the Christmas topic. We've got the Bible woven in here. We've got some mythology from I just want to say like pagan things, talking about some of these false gods and stuff like that, which I don't want my kids knowing a whole lot about that kind of stuff. And that's my dishwasher, by the way. So, but along with all of that, we are working on including this, because this is what I have. It's the Children's Atlas of God's World. This is from Master Books, and it's a really nice atlas. And so every day that we're going through this study, because it seems like a good chunk of this has to do with Europe, I have the map open to Europe, and in this atlas there's a nice clear-cut list of the countries in Europe, and then on the other page there's a map with the countries labeled. So we refer to this map, we've read over the countries. Today I actually had the boys studying the countries and where they're located, and so they're getting some geography, they're getting some history, they're getting some, an idea of what different people believed, as well as what we believe from the Bible. And then they're also reading books like this. This is from the Who Was series, Who Was George Washington. This is what Brendan's reading right now. And this is from the library, and what I do is I'll get a stack of books from the library and we'll have them for weeks, as long as we can keep renewing them. And then the boys are supposed to pick a book and read. They're supposed to finish a book. Like if it's like this thick, at least finish a book a week. And those books are on primarily, if not exclusively, on real life, real people, maybe current, maybe historical So that's also history and maybe some science and geography in there too, depending on who they're reading about. So I think that's about it for what we're doing for the month of December.